In a sport defined by cycles of rising prospects and fading champions, where new names constantly emerge and hopes quickly shift to the next potential superstar, it is rare to encounter a talent who genuinely alters the conversation. Boxing is perpetually searching for fighters who do more than simply win, those who inspire excitement, demonstrate mastery, and show the capacity to evolve with each outing. Even rarer is the fighter who checks all of those boxes before reaching the age of 20. Abdullah Mason, the young lightweight prodigy from Cleveland, has quickly become one of the brightest and most universally praised rising stars in the sport. His combination of speed, precision, technical fluency, and exceptional composure has made him a standout in a division already teeming with talent. Through a series of increasingly impressive performances, he has transformed himself from a promising young prospect into one of boxing's most complete and polished emerging fighters. Mason's rise has not been based on hype or marketing alone. It has been forged performance by performance, round by round, and punch by punch. Analysts, former champions, trainers, and seasoned observers have repeatedly commented that Mason does not simply defeat opponents, he educates them. His fights often resemble technical seminars more than raw physical clashes. He displays layers of skill and tactical understanding rarely seen in a fighter this young. Whether it is the way he changes distance with uncanny precision, shifts angles while remaining defensively responsible, or varies his punch selection with creativity and purpose, Mason consistently reveals qualities typical of fighters much deeper into their careers. His journey to prominence is best understood through the lens of his standout performances, the moments that shaped public perception, energized fans, and cemented the belief that Abdullah Mason is not only destined for greatness but accelerating toward it at an extraordinary pace. Even in Mason's earliest professional appearances, one trait quickly set him apart from other young fighters: composure. While many prospects rely on youthful energy, speed, or raw aggression, Mason fought with a calmness that belied his age. His left hand was immediately noticeable, landing with snappy accuracy and frightening consistency. His feet did not bounce unnecessarily. Instead, he glided around the ring, always balanced, always ready to counter or pivot. Opponents often possessed advantages in age, reach, or physical strength, but those edges proved irrelevant against Mason's skill. He neutralized physical disparities with ease. Analysts observed that while many young fighters chase knockouts, Mason preferred to orchestrate them. His goal was not to overwhelm opponents, but to condition them. He used feints, probes, and measured pressure to draw reactions. He created openings rather than gambling for them. When a knockout came, and more often than not, it did, it felt like the natural result of a carefully engineered process. Commentators frequently pointed out how calm he remained, even when opponents tried to apply pressure. Mason never appeared rushed or flustered. He changed speeds effortlessly, reading his opponents and adjusting before they realized what was happening. Not many teenagers possess the ability to see openings as they emerge, manipulate opponents with such clarity, or deliver counters with mechanical precision. Mason was already a tactician, but one blessed with the speed, reflexes, and coordination that made those tactics even more effective. It did not take long before the boxing world recognized that Mason's ceiling was extraordinarily high, and rising fast. One of the key turning points in Mason's early career came when he faced a durable veteran known for giving prospects difficult nights. This opponent was no stranger to absorbing punishment, forcing young fighters into uncomfortable exchanges, and surviving long enough to expose weaknesses. Before the fight, analysts framed the matchup as a legitimate test, perhaps the first serious measure of how Mason would handle someone with years of professional experience. Instead of being tested, Mason delivered a performance that left observers stunned. From the opening round, he controlled every aspect of the contest. His timing was immaculate. Whenever the veteran attempted to step inside, Mason intercepted him with crisp straight lefts or checked right hooks. The veteran's pressure, a tool that had frustrated many opponents, had no effect. Mason anticipated each attempt, gliding backward or pivoting out of danger, then punishing the misstep with swift counters. The commentary team was quick to praise Mason's maturity. They noted his seamless transitions between offense and defense, the subtlety of his footwork, and the sharpness of his adjustments. As the fight progressed, Mason's dominance grew more pronounced. The veteran's pressure weakened, then dissolved entirely. Mason broke him down methodically until a stoppage became inevitable. This was not simply a victory for Mason, it was an education. He had a neutral experience with intelligence. Young fighters often respond to seasoned opponents with reckless aggression or overt caution. Mason responded with balance, patience, and tactical composure. The performance shifted the way observers spoke about him. He was no longer labeled as talented for his age. He was simply labeled elite. As Mason's reputation expanded, so too did the quality of his opposition. His next significant matchup came against another fighter known for durability and relentlessness, an opponent whose purpose was to push Mason into deeper waters. Many expected this fight to reveal the limits of his youth or expose areas where improvement would be necessary. Instead, Mason delivered a performance even more refined than the previous one. From the outset, he established complete control with his jab. Although a southpaw, his lead right hand is among his most versatile weapons. He snapped it forward with whip-like speed, using it to freeze opponents, disrupt rhythm, and blind them to incoming power shots. He mixed levels seamlessly, alternating between head and body, forcing his opponent to continually reset. His punch selection was particularly notable. He displayed a level of creativity uncommon among young prospects. One moment he would fire a tight right hook, the next a sharp left hand down the middle. He used uppercuts in close quarters, doubled right hooks to set up the straight left, and turned his hips beautifully into sweeping crosses. The unpredictability kept his opponent off balance the entire fight. Despite his offensive brilliance, the most striking aspect of Mason's performance was his control of pace. Even when the opponent attempted to drag him into exchanges, Mason refused to be rushed. He dictated the rhythm, stepping in and out of range with poise. His evasive movements were subtle rather than flashy, allowing him to remain in position to counter effectively. By the time the referee stopped the fight, Mason had once again transformed a supposed test into a display of mastery. Analysts were no longer discussing whether he was ahead of schedule, they were discussing how far he could go. Every rising prospect has a defining moment, a fight that crystallizes potential into a clear statement of who they already are and who they could become. For Abdullah Mason, that moment arrived in a performance where every facet of his skill set aligned. The opponent was dangerous, armed with legitimate punching power and a reputation for imposing his will. But from the very first exchange, it was evident that Mason was operating on another level. His movement was razor-sharp. He took control of the center of the ring, using his jab to manipulate distance and relying on feints to draw predictable responses. Each time the opponent attempted to step forward, Mason slid back just enough to avoid the punch, then countered with frightening efficiency. The finishing sequence quickly became one of his highlight moments. Mason shifted slightly to his right, just a half step, almost imperceptible. The opponent reacted. In that fraction of a second, Mason unleashed a perfectly timed left uppercut that snapped the head upward. Before the opponent could recover, Mason followed with a straight left that folded him backward. The referee stopped the fight immediately. Mason's precision, speed, and explosiveness left no room for debate. Commentators reacted with genuine amazement. The performance validated the excitement building around Mason. It was clear proof that he was not only talented but also capable of executing at a world-class level even at this early stage. From that moment, he was no longer simply a prospect. He was a future contender with championship potential. To understand why Abdullah Mason has inspired such widespread admiration, one must examine the individual components of his style. Each element alone would make him a gifted fighter, but together they form a blueprint for something far rarer, a generational talent. His speed is the first attribute that stands out. Many fighters possess quick hands, but Mason's speed is paired with exceptional timing and accuracy. His punches are not merely fast, they are delivered with purpose. He lands cleanly, repeatedly, and often before opponents realize what happened. His footwork is equally advanced. Mason wastes no movement. He pivots effortlessly, constantly creating angles while maintaining a stable defensive foundation. His ability to change distance, sliding out of range by inches and re-entering with counters, is among the most impressive aspects of his game. Another defining trait is his punch variety. Mason uses every tool available. His uppercuts are devastating in close range, thrown with compact technique. His hooks, whether to the head or body, are sharp and decisive. His straight left is elite, fast, accurate, and powerful. Perhaps his greatest attribute is his ring intelligence. Mason reads opponents quickly, recognizing patterns and exploiting them. He sets traps intentionally, adjusting as the fight unfolds rather than reacting impulsively. This mental maturity sets him apart from most fighters his age, and many far older. His aggression, too, is controlled rather than reckless. Mason applies pressure when it is strategically advantageous but never overcommits. His balance remains intact at all times. He does not chase knockouts, he orchestrates them. His defense is disciplined yet subtle. He uses efficient head movement, timely pivots, and a tight guard to avoid damage. His defensive awareness keeps him in position to counter, turning opponents' offense into opportunities. The combination of these traits, speed, timing, footwork, power, creativity, discipline, and intelligence, makes Mason uniquely complete for his age. As Mason continues to climb the lightweight rankings, the central question becomes how far he can go. The answer, according to many experts, is straightforward: as far as he chooses. His skill set is adaptable to any style. He has the timing to trouble counterpunchers, the footwork to neutralize pressure fighters, the power to damage durable opponents, and the composure to handle unpredictable situations. What is most exciting is that he is still developing. Each performance reveals new improvements, suggesting that he is not approaching his ceiling but steadily rising toward it. With continued growth, carefully selected fights, and steady increases in competition, Mason has the potential to become a dominant force in the lightweight division, one of boxing's most stacked and glamorous weight classes. Many believe he will eventually ascend beyond the label of prospect or contender, joining the conversation of elite world champions. Boxing thrives on its emerging talents, fighters who bring new energy, inspire anticipation, and demonstrate the qualities that captivate fans. Abdullah Mason has become one of those rare figures. His rise has been marked not by shortcuts or superficial promotion, but by consistent brilliance inside the ring. He fights with intelligence beyond his years, power beyond his frame, and composure beyond his experience. He has already defeated tough veterans, passed multiple step-up tests, and created highlight moments that circulate widely. He is not merely a promising young fighter. He is an evolving phenomenon. As Mason continues to advance, the excitement surrounding his future will only intensify. He represents not only the next wave of lightweight talent, but potentially the next great American boxing star. His fusion of technical mastery, athletic gifts, and tactical sophistication makes him one of the most promising fighters of his generation. If his trajectory continues, Abdullah Mason may soon be mentioned among the sports greats, not simply as a comparison, but as a peer.